Do you like to hit hard, hit fast, and basically destroy anything in your path in the Pokemon TCG? Well, if you do, then Roaring Moon EX is the card from you. Coming from the brand new set Paradox Rift, Roaring Moon has the Frenzied Gouging attack, which can instantly KO any Pokemon in the game, but you do 200 damage to yourself. However, if you don't need to instantly KO anything, you can just use its other attack, Calamity Storm, which does 100 plus 120 more if you discard a stadium in play. We're gonna hop into the video right now, and I'm gonna show you a look at my Roaring Moon EX deck. What is going on, everybody? Hey, my channel here back again with another Pokemon trading card game live deck tech. Today, we were playing Roaring Moon EX, but before we head into the video, I just want to say thank you to the sponsor of the channel, PTCG Store. If you need codes, you know where to go. Head over to PTCGOstore.com and use code HITMON to get 5% off your order. You get a good product for a good price, and you help out the channel as well. So again, thank you to the sponsor, and thanks to you for supporting the channel. Now, Roaring Moon EX, super hype card. It has been tearing up online tournaments, and I can actually see this card doing pretty well in the meta. It's just so strong. The ancient package is really good right now. I already described what Roaring Moon does, but what do the rest of the cards in this deck do? We have 4 Roaring Moon EX, and we do have one of the new Brute Bonnet as well. It's got the Toxic Powder ability, which is actually really important. If it has an Ancient Booster Energy Capsule attached to it, you can make both active Pokemon poisoned. This is really important for having Roaring Moon hit 230 damage after poison with its Calamity Storm attack. This can knock out things like Dragonite V. It can knock out things like Iron Hands EX, 2 very important 230 HP Pokemon, Tyranitar V in Single Strike Lugia. There's a lot of 230 HP big basics, so having Brute Bonnet in here really helps Roaring Moon take one-shots without doing 200 damage to itself. Now, we also have one Lumineon V to help us search supporters, one Squawkabilly EX to have a more explosive first turn of the game, Radiant Greninja to help us draw some cards and get energy in the discard pile, and then Morpeko, another new card from Paradox Rift. It has an In a Hungry Hurry ability, which reads that this Pokemon has no energy attached, it has no retreat cost, and its attack is pretty solid too. For 70 damage, or for 2 dark energies I should say, you do 70 damage, and you move 2 dark energies from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon, so you can attack with it into a Comfey or into a Ralts or something, putting a single prize threat up in the active, taking a KO, and conserving your energy. This card is actually really strong in this deck. Now, this is a very turbo build. We're really trying to get as many knockouts as we can as quickly as possible. We're rocking 4 VIP Pass, as well as 4 Ultra Ball for our search, as well as 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball. We have 4 PokéStop, so we can just mill through our deck, and we're also playing 4 of the brand new Earthen Vessel, which lets us discard a card from our hand and find 2 energies and put them into our hand. This combos really well with Radiant Greninja, combos really well with other discarding cards, because we also are playing 4 Dark Patch in the deck, so we can accelerate even more energies to our Roaring Moon EX. We're playing 3 of that Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, which makes the Pokemon it's attached to, ancient Pokemon it's attached to, have 60 more HP and be immune to all special conditions. We're also playing 2 Switch Cart, a Pal Pad, 2 Pokégear to find our supporters, as well as an Escape Rope, a Super Rod, kind of standard stuff. We do have 4 Cross Switcher in the deck though, which is really strong. It lets you just kind of boss anything up for free while switching into something on the bench. We have our free Retreater in Morpeko to retreat, or we can just bring up a new Roaring Moon and force them to deal with an even bigger threat. We also do have 1 normal boss's orders in here in case we need to find something off Lumineon in the late game. And we also have an Iono to disrupt our opponent, but where the whole deck comes together is in the new card, Professor Sada's Vitality. It reads you choose up to 2 of your ancient Pokemon in play and attach a basic energy from your discard pile to each of them. If you attach any energy in this way, draw 3 cards. So this is really good to just accelerate energy and draw a bunch of cards, combined with PokéStop, combined with Radiant Greninja and Squawkabilly and such. We are playing 10 Darkness Energy, so this deck is super cool. I'm very excited to show it off. We always want to be going second with this deck, so we're gonna hop into some games, see if we can flip second, and see what this deck is all about. We get to call a coin flip. Tails never fails, as I always say, so we're absolutely going to go second here. I mean, Roaring Moon, you want to be going second, you want to take those KOs first is the priority here, and you want to use your different attackers. This is like a super solid hand. It would be like an incredible hand if we had energy. If we had like energies to discard, because we have a bunch of key pieces in our hand. If we had like a Greninja into an Earthen Vessel, just into a Sada, into more discard, we would have been chilling here. But it would suck to get rid of 2 cross switchers and not do anything about it. So we are playing up against Giratina, which can be a bit tough. If they put a Tina into play though, we kind of just win the matchup. They have to play it like Lost Box. In that case, we play it like we're playing against Lost Box, and we attack with Morpeko and we attack with Brute Bonnet primarily. So I'm curious to see what they do here. They have a Nest Ball, so they're going to be able to get another Comfey down. I'm sure they have a Switching Cart and so on and so forth. So they're going to be able to get a lot of cards in the Lost Zone pretty consistently here. And I mean, 2 cards. Tina usually is attacking with Tina turn 2 if all goes right, but if it doesn't go right, it's usually a turn 3 kind of ordeal. There's a Fog Crystal, getting another Comfy. Fog Crystal is not something I see often, so maybe this is just Sablezard. Maybe this is just a Lost Box variant. I'm assuming Tina, obviously, because of the Tina sleeves, but we have to see. There's a Fire Energy, so this is either Lost Zone Charizard or Sablezard, which changes how we have to play this matchup a little bit. We want to attack with Morpeko, we want to attack with Brute Bonnet primarily, and then we want to go in with Roaring Moon before they can actually KO it in one go. Thanks to spreading damage with Sableye, thanks to using Radiant Charizard and so on. They've got 4 cards in the Lost Zone already. Their board is full of Comfies here, and that's not the worst thing in the world for us because it limits their bench space. It limits if they can bench a Sableye, if they can bench a Cram, if they can bench a Greninja. There's no Charizard coming out from them right now, so I think realistically we should be in an okay spot. I'm going to start with these PokéStops here, or sorry, start with these VIP passes. I want to grab Greninja and Brute Bonnet, and then I also want to grab pretty simply Morpeko and Roaring Moon. That's kind of going to be our attacker lineup right here. And now we just gotta rip this Pokestop, hope we find some sort of energies. We did get some energies, which is fine. And the thing is do I want to use the Sada this like right now? I don't think I do. I think I want to Dark Patch 2 Morpeko. And I want to actually cross switcher up the Sableye, I think. I think getting rid of the Sableye is much better. And now we can just go for the Squawk and Seize. We just need an attachment, and then we can KO with Morpeko, and we have our attachment here, which is pretty good. We didn't use concealed cards, I don't think, yet. So we'll start with the Earthen Vessel. Grab these 2 energies, and we'll go for the concealed cards, so we can even use Dark Patch to get some things powered up here. And we also have access to Sada, which I think we'll start by attaching, obviously. Actually, hold on, I'll hold off on attaching. We'll Pokégear here. We find Sada, which is good for next turn. We can just continuously use it. And we're going to start powering up Brute Bonnet because if they respond with Cram, we want to be able to respond with Cram ourselves. And now I'll attach to this Brute Bonnet. Oh, I messed up. Okay, maybe it's salvageable. We'll retreat into the Squawk. I really wanted to attack with Morpeko there, but it's salvageable because we can use Escape Rope, thankfully, and we can KO anything on the bench. They go into a Comfy, we KO it with Brute Bonnet, so on and so forth. Yeah, so that was a big misplay by me, to be completely honest. That was a huge misplay, but at least we get to take a KO, and I want to see what exactly we get off here. Another Roaring Moon isn't bad because we can force them to use multiple prizes to take out an Roaring Moon. The only thing that can KO this Brute Bonnet is 120 from Sableye, and if they do that, we can pretty easily use Morpeko to just cake the rest of the KOs. We're down 2 Dark Patch, so things might be a little bit rough here. They have a Colress to start themselves off, though, which is going to be a bit interesting to see. If they get to 10 in the Lost Zone, it's very possible that they do it this turn. They've used a bunch of Comfies. They're already at 6 right now, so they basically just need to do either a Vacuum, a couple Flower Select things, and that's basically it, in order to get to 10 in the Lost Zone to utilize Sableye. When doing that, then they knock out the Brute Bonnet. We have to either respond with Roaring Moon or with Morpeko. Roaring Moon might actually be easier just because we can go directly into a Sada attach plus Dark Patch, pretty much. But I don't know. I have a sneaking suspicion they're not going to actually get to respond with Sableye this turn, and they're just going to attack with Cram. And if they just attack with Cram, we're in a decent spot. However, then they can just go Sableye, KO, or Brute Bonnet, and our Morpeko, which is pretty rough. So there's a Beach Court coming out from them. Another Fog Crystal. Maybe they are going to get the Sableye this turn. There's 8. If they have a Vacuum in hand, they do have it. They're attaching to the Sableye. So they got to have the Lost Vacuum in hand. They 100% do. There's no way they didn't there. Now they have a Sableye, and I'm curious if they decide to go into the Brute Bonnet or they decide to go into the Morpeko. Either way, we Super Rod it back and use it after. So we're going to see what they commit to. They might just commit to Squawkabilly here. Like I said, it's another viable option. Or they're going to go for Squawkabilly and Morpeko. That's interesting. It does make sense because we can't directly attack with Brute Bonnet. This turn, Cram can respond to the Brute Bonnet now, and then Sableye can respond to the Squawkabilly. So things are a little more interesting here for sure. We do want to discard this, grab some more energies out of the deck. We have 2 cross switchers. We got Switch Cart. We have some stuff. Ideally we want to hit the Switch Cart here. That's like our #1 go. And right now, Pokemon-wise, we just have Morpeko. But honestly, I think that's the only one we need. I just want to put Morpeko back into the deck, and we'll then go for a concealed cards here. And we do find Morpeko, but we don't have a way to use it right now. So we have 2 energies. I think we'll start with Sada here, and we'll go into these Roaring Moons, draw some more cards, find Dark Patch. So we could just manually retreat Brute Bonnet and go into Morpeko. I think that's a pretty solid option here. Yeah, I think that's alright. I don't necessarily want the boss. So Ultra Ball, we'll grab Morpeko once more. I do have the 1 energy, which is good. We can Dark Patch 2 more Morpeko. Put this here. Now we can retreat. And I do want to throw the Booster Energy Capsule on this Brute Bonnet. Could also go for the PokéStop. I don't necessarily want to give it to them though. And I think we'll just Energizer Wheel for the knockout on the Sableye, and we can move 2 of these energies to the Brute Bonnet once again. So basically, our Roaring Moons are acting as our reserves. They're acting as the Pokemon that we can depend on after we lose access to Brute Bonnet, we lose access to Morpeko. I'm fully expecting Morpeko to get KO'd here, just because it's a threat to the Comfies, it's a threat to the Sableyes, and the Sableyes are kind of what keeps this deck together. But right now, if they get access to another Sableye, they can KO our Squawkabilly. And then we're going to have to pray for our Iono to work. We just Iono them, we attack with Brute Bonnet. Hope they can't respond to Brute Bonnet. If we can take 2 prizes with the Brute Bonnet, we can put ourselves even to them while Ionoing them. And I do believe we have our Pal Pad left. So we can Pal Pad back our Sada, Pal Pad back our Iono, and just kind of loop those over and over. So it's going to be a challenge. Lost Zone is a challenge for this deck, but I think we're playing it to the best of our abilities, other than my funky little misplay there. Another thing they can do, though, is if they actually have access to a Lost Vacuum, they can get rid of our Booster Energy Capsule, which would be really bad for us if they're able to do that. So they're going to attach to the Ride, or they're going to ride onto Comfy, obviously, so we can retreat. I'm expecting a Lost Vacuum to come out here. So because of that, I actually want to lead Squawkabilly. I'm going to lead Squawkabilly. Hopefully I can heal it off a little bit. So there's the Sableye. Maybe, oh, they're just going to hit into us with Cramorant. Okay, that's completely fine. Them hitting into us with the Cram isn't that big of a deal. It's when they hit us with the Squawkabilly, that's going to be tough for us to respond to. Thankfully, we can respond to the Cram here. So we have another Roaring Moon, which isn't exactly like needed. I don't want to concealed cards, get rid of this energy. I particularly don't want to Iono them here either. However, okay, I think this is what I want to do. I want to PokéStop first. I want to go for the PokéStop. Get Cross Switcher. Now, Cross Switcher will let us take out this Sableye, but we won't be able to attack it. See, the thing is, they're down 1 Sableye, they're down a bunch of Fog Crystals, they're down a bunch of energy. I could Iono them to 4 here, but I think it's more catastrophic when they actually, after they actually Sableye, that I Iono them to a lower hand size. So I'll attach to the Brute Bonnet. Don't want to use any of this yet. We can go for a Heavy Ball, just see what we've prized. We prized Lumineon, which could be important to use after we didn't prize Pal Pad, which is the even more important part here. And now I will Rampaging Hammer for the knockout. Want to get ahead here. And like, I'm fully expecting them to go for the Squawkabilly, right? All that means after is they need to KO a Roaring Moon to win. And through the use of the Switch Cards, through the usage of our last Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, we can't be disruptive, we can't get rid of it, we need to be able to conserve that, and we need to find our Pal Pad so we can Sada once again. That's like our main concern. If we can Sada one more time, hopefully we should be able to pull the game through here, because we have 8 energy in total accounted for. We do have some in the deck still. We should anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8. So I don't want to conceal cards there, risk not finding the energy. I'm just happy that right now we're kind of forcing them to deal with the Squawkabilly. If they deal with the Squawkabilly here, it allows Brute Bonnet to attack once more. And in letting Brute Bonnet attack again, I can Iono them to a low hand size. They're still going to need a lot relatively. They're down a Raihan, which is important to note. Raihan is very good at letting Radiant Charizard attack and letting it get recycled, most importantly, in the late game. And if we can just put them to a low hand size, they're down quite a few switches here. They're down 3 rope, 1 core. They're actually also down a rod, which is important to know, and a switch cart. And in their discard, they're also down 2 switch cart and a rope. So it's going to be hard for them to consistently use flower selecting after they take the knockout. I was kind of baiting them here. I want them to take the 2 prizes on the Squawkabilly, especially because as long as we get a ancient energy capsule on one of these Pokemon, it's going to be really hard for them to boss it and knock it out. Then again, they do have access to Counter Catcher, but I don't know how many they play. They've already gotten rid of 1, so this is going to be a bit challenging to maneuver around. However, if we just force them to have as much, to need as much as they possibly can need, then we might be a-okay. We also do have the switch cart here, which will let us cross switcher up this Sableye, then we can switch cart out of it, which I think is kind of solid because it lets them not take a KO on Squawkabilly. And if they don't take a KO on Squawkabilly, then we're chilling. However, like I said, they're gonna have to wait and see. Oh, maybe they poke us with Cram and they have a lost vacuum here. Isn't there Sable? I'm hoping they don't have the vacuum. Come on, don't have the lost vacuum. Don't have the lost vacuum. Woo! They don't have the lost vacuum. Okay, cool. So, okay, we're in a decent spot here. Earthen Vessel is pretty solid. I don't know if I want... Actually, I probably can discard the Roaring Moon. Just want to get a count of the energies. Want to grab these guys still. We have a Dark Patch. We have a Pal Pad. So we have a lot of things that we can find. So the key here is we don't want this Brute Bonnet to get KO'd now. And I don't necessarily want to Iono them. I think I want to switch card into a Squawkabilly. And then cross switcher a Sableye. Switch card into Squawkabilly. Because they've used 2 vacuums. Or they've used they've used 1 vacuum. They probably played 2. Then now I'll cross switcher up the Sableye here. And I can concealed cards. I know we have a Dark Patch left anyways. And there's our Dark Patch, so that's a-okay. I do want to keep that though. However, they might play Roxanne, and if they play Roxanne, we could get in a bit of a pickle here. But we wouldn't have an attacker afterwards. So yeah, this is interesting. Best play probably is to prep the Roaring Moon. We don't want to Iono them just yet. I think we just want to Dark Patch onto it. Yeah, we just want a Dark Patch there, and we Rampaging Hammer for the KO. Again, I'm really trying to bait the Iono play. I really want this Iono play to come through. We get the Heavy Ball, we can discard it with the Ultra Ball, that's fine. I don't want to waste this Iono. It's really important to save it to really hurt them in the late game. They could attack with Cram here, but then we just go for a Calamity Storm knockout. Or they go with Sableye, take out the Squawkabilly, and that forces us to retreat this Brute Bonnet into a Roaring Moon. And at that point, as long as we can find our last energy capsule, we should be okay. Here's a Mirage Gate coming from them. Like I said, I want to bait them into this Iono play. That's my main goal. We have a Roaring Moon prepped, so like if they disrupted us, we would be fine. They're getting a single energy onto the Sableye. And I know they're definitely waiting to go for a big Super Rod to get all of their Sableyes back. And there's a Devolution TM, doesn't do anything to us, thankfully, because that is absolutely terrifying against the Sablezard, because they can now deal with Charizard EX super easily. They can deal with Chen Pao easy, because they can just get rid of the Baxcaliburs in like 2 turns and they just win the game. And they're just going to go for the Lost Mine here. So I'm debating if they go for the Brute Bonnet, but no, they're going to go for the Squawkabilly, playing exactly into our hand. And now we can retreat Brute Bonnet. I'm not super concerned about it anymore. They've gone all in into the Squawkabilly here. And now we can go with Roaring Moon. We can also get rid of the Beach Court. And yeah, we hopefully should be fine. I'm going to start with the Ultra Ball here. I just want to thin as much as possible. We need to find that booster energy off of this Iono here to have hopes of winning the game, because or else they just go into Charizard and they win. Hopefully the Iono 2 plus getting rid of the Beach Court will be enough. We also got Pal Pad and Switch Cart. Okay, Pal Pad's really good because we can literally just throw back a Sada, and we don't have any. We have a. Oh, sorry, hold on. I thought it was like looking through the deck. I think if we throw in Sada and we throw in Iono is probably the best bet. Just so we can kind of hope that we find things more consistently. Now we can card away this, and we will go for the Calamity Storm here. We do want to get rid of the stadium. So now this is what we're forcing them basically to have. We're forcing them to have Energy Switch Charizard. That's what they need. They're down 2 Colress, I think. Or 3 Colress. They're down 2 Colress and a Rhyhorn. So off 5 cards, they need 3 things. Not the worst thing in the world, but they're down a lot of switches. And basically, they have their Super Rod, that's fine. If they go into a Sableye, we just win. They need to KO a 2-pricer here. That's the only way they can win. They're just putting a Fire Energy back. Okay, they're really trying to maximize their chance of finding it. If they use an Escape Rope to switch, oh, they have a Chorus too. Oh, we just gave it to them, of course. If they use an Escape Rope to switch, which is possible. Actually, no, it's not possible. I don't even know if they have any switching options left. They're down 4 Rope. They're down 4 Card. They're down a Beach Court. They're down all their Beach Courts. I don't know if it's possible for them to switch here, unless they literally Mirage Gate, like, both their energies, and then they just have it. If they do, that's tough, but we played the match really well. I'm just curious to see what they do. They're giving the Radiant Charizard. They have to have it here then. They have to just have everything they need in their hand in order to take the dub here. They're going for Flower Selecting. They're probably just looking for the gate. If they're like looking for the 1 gate, I don't suspect they play 4. I think that'd be a little excessive. I suspect they play 2 in this deck, but we'll have to see what they do here. They got rid of a Pokégear. They have the gate and they have the necessary energy, which I'm sure they do because they only Super Rodded 1 back. Then we're toast. Hopefully our Iono worked. If not, we kind of just have the dub here. There's a Fire Energy on the Zard. And a pass for my opponent. So thankfully, we're able to pull out the dub here. We just go for a Calamity Storm for 100 damage. We take a KO on that Comfey, taking our last prize of the game. That was super intense, but I think we played that exceptionally well, apart from our 1 misplay in the beginning of the game. And that just shows you how versatile that Roaring Moon EX can actually be presented with decks that are traditionally bad matchups. We get to call a coin flip here. Tails never fails is what I always say. And hopefully we flip tails, so we're going to choose to absolutely go second here. Going first, not our friend. However, you can still pull off some cheeky things going first. If your cards are red, you can pull off a Morpeko attack. But this is much better. This hand's much better for going second. Going first, we would be able to literally do 0 with this hand. Unless we just go for a Squawkabilly. And we just squawk away. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, I'm just curious to see what my opponent's playing. If they get the Roaring Moon sleeves, they might be playing Roaring Moon, in which case, hopefully we can pull out a turn 1 knockout. But we're going to have to wait and see how they finish setting up here. And good luck to my opponent. It is a Roaring Moon. That gold looks really nice in PTCGL, I won't lie. Altar looks nicer, but the gold is pretty cool. They have a Nest Ball coming out, and they're going to probably grab Greninja, I would assume. Or they're going to Morpeko to start. That's interesting. Oh, they have another Nest Ball. Okay. Also, Squawkabilly is like your number 1 that you want to get, but they're getting Morpeko, they're getting Brute Bonnet, they're Earthen Vesseling. Okay. So I'm curious how they decide to approach this matchup. It's going to be interesting. There's an Ultra Ball. They're going to get rid of a couple energy. And they have their Greninja from here. Or the Squawkabilly from here, either or. They're going to Lumineon. That's interesting. Attaching to Roaring Moon. Booster in the Roaring Moon. Again, that's completely fine. And they're going to pass. They have Lumineon for next turn. But ideally, we want to just knock out this Roaring Moon here. So they've got 2 energy in this card. We'll put Roaring Moon down. I think I want to I don't like having to use this escape rope here, right? Like, I don't like having to escape rope away. But I think, okay, I'll start with a PokéStop. Or no, you know what, screw it. We're gonna Ultra Ball, we're gonna get rid of Switcher and Roaring Moon. This is really awkward. We want to see, we have Lumineon, we have Squawk, so that's good here. We want to start with a PokéStop, and we get rid of a bunch of necessary cards. So we don't like that, we're just going to Squawk and Seize. That feels really bad, actually. We do find Sada with 1 energy, so we need a lot more to happen off of this single Sada here. We needed to find Greninja. We needed to, like, to not discard, like, not excessively discard a bunch of cards right there. We can go for 2 here. We can get Morpeko down. Actually, we'll get Brute Bonnet down. Or no, we'll get Morpeko instead. What am I saying? Get Morpeko. And now, I think I kind of just want to pass. Pretty rough. However, they do need to just draw into an energy in order to KO with this Roaring Moon. In that case, then things become a little bit difficult for us. That felt super bad, getting rid of Greninja and getting rid of Lumineon. That was like a terrible PokéStop. Yeah, I don't know. That was really, really rough. I think Squawk should be prioritized anyway. There's a Lumineon. I'm like 100% guessing it's just going to be for a Sada. Then they're going to Sada. Oh, they're going to research. The research is interesting. It means no Sada coming up from them, which means the chances of them actually attacking are really slim this turn, which makes the chances of us attacking a lot higher if we're able to use PokéStop here. They have a Dark Patch coming out, so they're going to start powering up that Roaring Moon. Another Dark Patch. Maybe they just have 3 Dark Patch plus Switch, and they are good to go. And a Jet Energy. Okay, so they have everything they need. Do they go for the Calamity Storm here? Do they have the Booster Capsule for Brute Bonnet? They have another Dark Patch, getting rid of Sada and a Jet Energy. The Jet Energy is an interesting inclusion. I never thought of that, but it does make a lot of sense. They're just going to Frenzied Gouging us, and now this is going to be a challenge. This is going to be a challenge because we want to be able to attack with Morpeko. Actually, we can, though, pretty easily, which is good. We saved the Roaring Moon for later. And we get Switch Cart as well, which is good. So what I want to start with is we'll start with a PokéStop here, just see if we can find some cards. Earthen Vessel out. Getting rid of another Sada, not great, but we can at least Earthen Vessel, and we can start thinning our hand down a little bit, or our deck down a little, I should say. We'll start with the Dark Patch to this Morpeko, and another Dark Patch to the Morpeko. And we have a Switch Cart, but we'll bench the Roaring Moon. We will go for a switch into Morpeko here. And now I'll attach this Roaring Moon, and boom, Energizer Wheel. So we're in a decent spot. We KO with a single prizer, and we get to power up 2 Roaring Moons in one, like through one attack. So I think really solid turn from us, not gonna lie. We can grab 2 prizes. Booster Energy Capsule is really good. And Heavy Balls also would be decent, but we don't really need it right now. They can return KO with Morpeko potentially, but they have to have not let it, obviously. And now we're going to see what they do. They are already down a boss. They're going for a Sada, so they're probably trying to get a cross-switcher play here. That would be my guess. But they're powering up just the Brute Bonnet? Okay. Maybe they're opting to return KO with a Brute Bonnet here, putting them to uneven prizes, but then why did they attach to the Roaring Moon? I don't understand. Booster Energy on the Brute Bonnet. They're just going to get an Ultra Ball, and they're getting rid of a Booster and a Sada, so that's really good for us. They have an Ultra Ball coming down from themselves, maybe getting another Roaring Moon. Excuse me, the way that they're playing this matchup is really interesting to me. They're getting Brute Bonnet powered up. Okay, that's all their Dark Patches. I think that's 3 Sadas as well. Yeah, it's 3 Sadas. Okay. So now they put us to an uneven prize trade. We go to an uneven prize trade, but I think we just have more resources left in them. So what I'm going to try and do here, we get Iono, which is not the worst in the world, but we're going to start with the PokéStop, see what we draw into. Vessel, Cross Switcher, okay, that's good. So we can grab a Vessel here, or use Vessel. I want to get my Brute Bonnet powered up. We have a bunch of Dark Patches left, so we're okay. And now I think this is kind of our last hurrah here. We can attach, and then we can Iono them to 3 cards in their hand. And we want to find like our Pal Pad to get Sadas back in the deck. We want to find our Brute Bonnet. We get a Dark Patch, which is also pretty solid here. And I think that's actually fine to just power up this other guy here. And now we can Calamity Storm, and we can discard the Stadium and knock out the Brute Bonnet here. So like, that's not bad at all. They need to find an energy or a Sada, which is like very unlikely for them to do. There's our Sada that we were missing. Yeah, they're down like 3 Sada, 4 Dark Patch, 5 energy. They're at 7 accounted for energy. Oh, they just have Jet energy. Okay. Again, they can go for a Frenzied Gouging here, and then we just return them with a Calamity Storm, and all should be right in the world, because then if they can't get a KO here, it's like impossible for them to power this thing up. It is practically impossible to get this Roaring Moon powered up in 1 turn. Nothing that can get KO'd by Morpeko. And so like theoretically we should be fine here. So I'll start with this Roaring Moon. And we get Brute Bonnet. I think we still want to power Brute Bonnet up. I think that's completely okay. With Townster, we'll get this Energy Capsule here. Yeah, I think still powering Brute Bonnet up is fine. Like, because if we just power Brute Bonnet up, we can just boss Morpeko next turn and win the game. So we'll do that. We will start with the PokéStop because we can get rid of it with Calamity Storm. We get access to Pal Pad, so we'll definitely put 2 more Sadas back with Pal Pad. And then we'll just go for a single Sada's Vitality here. There's 3 energy there, just fine. We can attach 1 to Brute Bonnet. I think 1 to Roaring Moon is okay as well too. Then we draw some more cards. We got another energy out of the deck, which is acceptable, but I don't want to use it quite yet. I'd rather just go for a Calamity Storm and discard the Stadium because I don't want them having access to it. We can take the KO here. And now, yeah, it's like kind of impossible for them to come back from this. However, if they do, we'll see. Maybe they have a trick up their sleeve. Maybe they have like Raihan or whatever. They have their other Sada plus attachment plus something else. I have no idea. But we're gonna see where they go from here because we just Calamity Storm. We win the game. They're gonna boss up the Brute Bonnet, hoping to stall. I'm guessing we have Switch Cart in hand, so we're a-okay. And yeah, I think we played this match really well. Because we just have the Switch Cart in hand. That's why I didn't want to commit too much to it, but we have the Sada anyway. We can Switch Cart into this Roaring Moon, and boom, Calamity Storm for 100, gets the KO on that Morpeko, and we get to take our final prize of the game, and take the dub against the Roaring Moon Mirror. A little bit challenging, a little bit different list too, but we were able to pull it out through, I think, our careful resource management, or as all of us like to say, just drawing better. What do you think of my Roaring Moon EX deck? This deck is a ton of fun to play, and it is one of those turbo decks that is actually surprisingly versatile and can deal with a lot of different threats as long as you draw like half decently and you manage your resources pretty carefully. You can even be the likes of Lost Box, you can even be the likes of Gardevoir, you can beat decks that traditionally would stomp over a big beat stick deck just thanks to the versatility you have with Morpeko, Brute Bonnet, and Roaring Moon itself is just a really good card that can deal with a lot of different threats. It reminds me of Giratina because it can do a lot of damage, it has pretty high HP, and it can have instant KOs. So I think that Roaring Moon is a deck that's going to stick around for a while. I think it's something that's really strong, and it's really worth paying attention to. I don't think I would change anything about the deck, to be honest. I mean, I think the deck is running really well. It's playing really well. I honestly, if I were to bring Roaring Moon to a tournament, if I felt Roaring Moon was a good pick, I'd probably play this just because it is so versatile and it can do so much stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed, and comment down below. What do you think of this Roaring Moon EX deck? What do you like? What do you dislike? What keep? What would you change? And let me know because I'm looking at and responding to all my comments. And subscribe to the channel if you like Pokemon trading card game. I know you do because you're watching this. I post multiple Pokemon trading card game videos every single week. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. Hitmonchanting out.